Hi guys, this is Bess Boomer back with you. Uh, another talk. Today I'm doing it on COVID. That's on everybody's mind, probably even more than what it needs to be. Um, right now in Arizona, looks like we're at 120,000, and looks like we're um, going up each day about 40,000. So, and it says that 25% of the tests they do are positive. I read somewhere that actually 40% of the population is already positive. And when you ask yourself the question, do I know anybody with COVID who's been really sick or passed away? Well, I had a high school friend who did pass away from COVID. She was morbidly obese. And my husband has a friend who's recovering out of ICU now. And that's it. uh, that's it for sure. So, as far as it affecting very many people, the closest we can come, and this is by a stat by the Center of Disease Control, so it ought to be pretty valid, is 0.2%. So that's like, what, 2 out of 1,000 die? So that's if, let's say, if there's 7.2 million people in Arizona, and if every single person got it, 14,000 would die. That'd be about the size of, Paradise Valley. So, I don't know, the numbers, what they're stacking up to be, I know that, people have been really, really afraid of this, and understandably so when somebody dies of something. But what you have to do is you have to look at the odds. You have to look at the statistics. In prison, there are 2.3 million prisoners. Out of 2.3 million prisoners, 35 have died. Okay? Doesn't sound like too many to me. Plus, they're letting them out right and left over COVID. Come on now. If masks work for the general public, they ought to work for the prisoners, don't you think? So interesting how this thing is actually playing out. I listened to, I think it's University of Southern California, a professor, Joel Hay, and he made a point that was very interesting. He said, in South Korea, which is more dense than New York City, they only had a couple hundred deaths. That'd be interesting to know why they had a couple hundred deaths instead of what we've had. He cited, he thought it was handled poorly as far as using safe practices in the medical field. He doesn't think that social distancing is the answer, or that it's really that effective, just based that on, South Korea. He said that they did a study on pregnant women, and the study they did, 80% of the pregnant women tested positive for COVID, and none of those babies had it, nor did any baby die. So his suggestion is, and I totally agree, is isolate the high-risk people. The old people, stay at home. The obese people, stay at home. Those with health problems, stay at home. Not so much children. I've read where some are, about going back to school. Oh my gosh, there's so much turmoil in that, and whether kids should go back to school or not. Really, Are they probably going to wear masks? Probably not. You could distance them from each other, although I'm not sure that that's an effective method either. Chances are, if they got it, and remember, the low percentage that they're going to get is it's very low. And with that percentage, how sick are they going to get? Apparently kids, they aren't affected so much. Now, can you find a child that's died of it? Of course you can. Can you find a 30 or 40-year-old guy? Of course you can. And of course, those are the cases that you're going to see over and over again on the internet. Over and over again. Whatever agenda they're trying to push is that slant that you're going to get. I realize that with the media. And if you don't, maybe you ought to switch your channel, read several sources, even sources that you don't agree with, even viewpoints that you don't agree with, and then use your logic and use the odds to come up with how dangerous it actually is to you individually, given your circumstances. Okay? So if you have circumstances that would make it more dangerous, stay home. But don't expect everybody else to stay home. Okay? We already know that the economy's been pretty much devastated with all of this. And I'm not saying, what was done is the wrong thing by any means. But they learn more and more every day about it. And you've heard Dr. Fauci, which is kind of the guru, and now he's kind of losing the status, and all, which is kind of sad. But, you learn as you go along, and your opinion's going to change as you go along. And things that he said at the very beginning, we find out now were inaccurate. Well, the man can only go base his thoughts, his opinions on the information he has at the moment. I feel pretty comfortable being out in public. We've gone back to eating out. In Arizona, places we've gone, social distancing has been practiced. They're only at about half capacity. Do those entering the establishments wear masks? Well, really in Arizona, it kind of works out that if you open the door and you see that those inside have masks on, you pull yours up. Otherwise, no, I leave it down and I go in. I think my immune system is pretty darn good, knock on wood. And if you see my obituary, and you start laughing because, did you see that video she made? She wasn't that worried about it. Okay, all right. Hopefully I died doing something I wanted to do. Whether with COVID, I doubt it, but you don't know. All I'm doing is going by the odds. And, I follow the guidelines to some extent. I did stay home for a while. I do wear a mask if I'm close by somebody out of courteousness to them. But if nobody else is wearing masks, I guess I'm not that convinced, and I can, find information to back up either side. But I'm going to go by the statistics that I found. I'll follow the rules for the most part that are there, but I'm not going to close down my life based on some of it that probably isn't even true. And for all those out there, whether you be liberals or just basically empaths who, feel it for everybody else and worried that one child is going to die. Well, I'd like to say, I don't want one child to die either. But you can't change the whole society around that. Otherwise, you'd have your child in a bubble. He wouldn't go to school. He wouldn't go in public. And that's about it. So that's my 2 cents for the day on COVID. Hope this whole thing does settle down, they get a vaccine, then you can have another whole conversation on whether you should take the vaccine, because many people don't believe in that. So you just go by the best science that you can find, the best information you can find, and use your brain. Okay, have a great day. This is Best Boomer. Please consider subscribing. I am on YouTube, and I also share to Facebook and sometimes Twitter. But again, I'm Best Boomer. I'm doing these walk and talks because I'm not at home. I'm in the Prescott National Forest, which is beautiful, and I don't have any awesome products to show you, but I will have when I get home. Okay, take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.